Today, I've come to see 8 different award-winning RHS show gardens all in one place. Bridgemere Show Gardens in Cheshire is home to 15 different gardens set across 6 acres of land. 8 of these are all recreations of gardens that have been displayed at Tatton Park, Chelsea and Hampton Court flower shows and celebrate some of the best gold and silver gilt winning designs from these events. The show gardens are located next to one of Europe's biggest garden centres, Bridgemere, which is visited by over 500,000 people each year. I spoke with the head gardener Bernard Porter, who has had over 40 years of experience working at Bridgemere in the gardens.
I've actually worked at Bridgemere for 44 years. I did 29 years on production. At the end of the reign of Mr. Ravenscroft, he asked me if I'd come and sort the garden out, and I've been in here ever since, and it's actually a pleasure to work in here. Originally the garden, John used to have a display garden in the middle of where the garden centre is now, and he decided to move up here, and 86 to 88 we started doing Chelsea flower shows, and his plan was to bring every garden we did back and reinstate it here so the public could come and see it, make an exciting day out for them. Everybody makes a beeline for the cottage as soon as they get it. It's the first port of call for most people. It was one we had the most awards with. We won the gold medal, best in show, and the Wilkinson Tour trophy for plant excellence. First time I worked at Chelsea really, so it's a bit of a special garden to me. You've still got a few tulips in here. The Smilacina is coming out. The Pulmonaria is just starting to go over. And a nice lilac that's out down the bottom side there. Lilacs have really gone out of fashion. Nobody bothers with them, but every garden should have a lilac in it somewhere because they smell beautiful. Well, originally the garden rooms, they were all done. It was a lot smaller. It was only a quarter of the size, half the third of the size. So there always used to be the cottage. There was a white border, red border, green and gold border, and 1 or 2 Chelsea gardens. But as the gardens got bigger, we've had to expand, and they all seem to interlink with each other now. It's a slightly different, and to having that's a white border, that's a red border. We actually link them with something between, so yeah, it's always something of interest. This is our newest to build in the garden. It's a representation of a Japanese garden. We really wanted more space to work in, but got a bit more planting to do. That should be complete within the next fortnight. Everybody seems to have taken a liking to it. This is a new Acer border we put in to fit in with the Japanese border. Quite a few really nice Acers on there. Most of them available on the garden centre as well. We go down to the Folly Garden, which was designed by a lady from the WI up at Muckleston. Won a gold medal. We got the Folly, and the moat was all incorporated. It was based originally on the castle at Mount Cop, but we slightly altered it when we got to Chelsea. There's 1 from Tatton, 6 from Chelsea, 2 from Hampton Court. There's quite a lot down the bottom end. There used to be the French Rose Garden that come back from Stoke Garden Festival. And then there's remnants of where we did Liverpool Garden Festival and one in Newcastle, in Gateshead I think it was. We did one up there, and a lot of that stuff come back and got planted into the areas. We did Chelsea in lockdown, yeah. One of the people, he doesn't work for us anymore, him and his friends, they designed this based on the forge down at Brampton in Devon. We actually took a silver gilt, fully working, fully functional forge. All the plantings in the front quite bright, meant to represent the fire of the forge and the flames. The Victorian garden, Mr. Ravenscroft originally was going to use it at Chelsea, and he couldn't get the ground space to do it as it is here, so he actually extended the garden from the top. We started gardening down this end of the garden then back in 1990 I think it was. Well, tulips all winter. As soon as the tulips are over, we replace all that with lots of varieties of dahlias. We normally put about 10,000 tulip bulbs down there. Back 20 years ago, this used to be the main entrance into the garden. So if you actually look back up the pathway, that used to be the big spiral in there, used to be the centrepiece of to draw you into the garden. The bandstand here used to be part of the Stoke Garden Festival when it was a French Rose Garden. But over the years before I started in here, they've taken all the roses out and taken it back to what it is. But tulip, first time I've grown it, was a new one I got from Holland, which is Hugs and Kisses, which I think's done remarkably well. It's rather a nice one. Stunning flower, strong stems. It's actually stood up to all the rain we've had as well, which is a good thing. Yeah, all the woodlands and the spring and winters are alive with magnolias and rhodos and azaleas are all coming to the peak at the moment. I think you can walk around the garden any time of the year, whether it be December, July or whenever, there's always something in flower. I've worked on the basis that I've got something flowering nearly every day of the year. Difficult, but I've just about succeeded in doing it. Anybody who likes woodland gardens and shady gardens, this is the place to be. There's one special magnolia there in the middle that's finished flowering called Iolanthe. Huge, great flowers. Then you see the flower, you'd actually think it's made out of plastic or wax. They don't feel real. There's another nice magnolia there, but the trouble, it grows too quick and you end up with all your yellow flowers in the top of the canopy of the trees. But it's a really nice yellow river, that one is. The tree in front of you is one of our specimen trees for the area. It's a Circidophyllum, known as the candy floss tree, because if you come down to it in the autumn as the leaves fall, it'll just smell like a toffee factory. Really sweet toffee smell coming off it as the leaves fall off it. It's one of the few trees where the leaves grow along the big branches as well as on the ends. But that one is actually a specimen for Cheshire, as is the next one, which is another Circidophyllum, but it's Japonica pendula. Yeah, the little pond here. Again, come June, July, all the plants along the sides, the Philopendulus, the iris, they'll all be in full flower. It looks rather nice then. Little border here, it used to be a scree border, but we decided we're going to plant it with ferns, hostas, tree ferns, make it like a little fernery because it's fairly shaded. And the tree in the middle, the birch, the silver birch, that I think has the longest catkins on it. And the catkins start in the spring, they're only 6 or 8 inches long. It's an absolute stunner. There's a lot of people love the down memory lane garden. They'll go sit in there for hours. They love it. This was designed by a lady that works for Blue Diamond. We did it for Alzheimer's and dementia originally, and it's just provoke a lot of memories for people. Perfect little garden. But it's an old school type garden that looks more like a little allotment garden, but everybody loves it. I think we got silver gilt medal, which for Anna was the first show she'd ever done, was quite an achievement. With some of the plants we've got quite a lot of rare and unusual plants. I could virtually find a hidden gem in every border in the garden. Rather rare rhododendron there, Roxyana. You don't see that. In fact, I've never seen it anywhere else. Quite an unusual one, that is. It's an old variety. And if you look across on the other side of the lawn, you've got a Yakishanum there called Ken Janet, which is an absolute stunning pink rhododendron. Never lets you down, that doesn't. And doesn't get too big either with it being a Yakishanum. The other thing we've got in the garden here is quite a few specimen holly of varieties you don't see very often. There's 4 or 5 on here. The Ferox argentea, the moonlight holly on the end there, which you don't see very often anymore. Any garden, wherever it is evolving on a constant all the time. We're having a lot of new gardens coming back when we start doing Chelsea, and that'll be a big bonus for a lot of people. Somebody walks in and looks through the gate, you'll just see they've got the most perfect office in the world. Once you become a gardener, you just become obsessed with gardening. Plants become more important than people.
If you want to find out more about visiting the gardens here, head over to bridgemereshowgardens.co.uk. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Horticulture magazine for more beautiful garden tours. Thanks for watching.